Ken is the founder and CEO of Country Visions, which is the franchisor for a boutique operation for women's fashion called Apricot Lane. Or I guess it could be called Apricot Lane in some sectors. I'm not sure. Serial entrepreneur, that part I get. Retired fire captain. I'm trying to picture this. Comes home fighting fires, little sooty, the big boots, the yellow jacket, and he says to his wife, "Honey, I think I'm going to start a women's fashion boutique." I'm like, I want to hear how that happened, how this worked. And then, if that wasn't enough, he decided to found Strands, a 501c3 nonprofit, which is an organization that's mission is to end sex trafficking and focus business initiatives to create jobs, both as prevention and restoration for victims. So welcome with me from Sacramento, one of our members, Ken Peterson.
Well, thank you just for the opportunity to be able to share my journey. It is kind of strange to be from a firefighter to women's fashion, and that is a huge leap, and it's just a completely different story that we are not going through tonight. You're gonna have to come to Convene next year for that story. But I do want to share a story that just happened to me 10 days ago, 2 weeks or so ago, that as I was thinking about, God, what do you want me to share in this little bit of time that I have with you? And I was on vacation, a family spring break with my family. I got a little 9-year-old, and he's swimming in the pool. And I'm reading Bob Shank's book, Life Mastery, sitting by the pool. And Bob calls you to kind of fill out this little section in the book and define your life purpose. And so I said, I know my life purpose, and I start writing it out, and I read another chapter, and I thought, I'm going to go back and tweak my life purpose now. And it was interesting because as I was going through that, I'm telling you, a not so small voice entered my spirit, my head, and it said to me something like, Ken, I don't need you. I don't need you in sex trafficking, especially if it's going to move you away from me, from your wife, and from your family. And that hit me pretty hard. And so I'm leaking behind my sunglasses, and I'm trying to get control of myself, and I'm going, wow, where's that from, God? And it took me a few days to have to kind of process that. And I think what God was doing was he was reminding me that he wants me all in all that I do. And that was a reminder that he took me back to 15 years ago when I was saved at the age of 42. So I had the opportunity to live life with and without God. And so what God was doing was he was taking me back through that time. I was going through a divorce, and God gave me a 4x4 to get my attention. Because you see, I was living pretty much upside down. My priorities were pretty well out of whack. I was this workaholic who was on the proverbial ladder of success, and I know a lot of us in this room, have those tendencies, thinking that that's what a man was supposed to do, bring the bacon home. I mean, if I got to work 2 jobs to do it, I'll do it, whatever it takes. But I was upside down. If you'd look at my priorities, it was probably business, and then it was my kids and my wife, my family, others, and God was probably down here. And every now and then I'd call him up when I had a need, and when I'd run off the road and I needed to hand him the steering wheel. And so at age 42, now on fire for God and just hungry for the Word. I'd never really been in the Bible before. And I said, okay, God, if you're number 1 in my life, what's number 2? I didn't have the answer to that. And so I'm in Ephesians 5:25, and that's my aha moment. Oh, my goodness, it's my wife. My wife is number 2. So with God as number 1 and my wife as number 2, I'm starting to figure it out. Ken, you're upside down. Then it's your kids and your family and others. And where's business? And where's Ken? It's not up here. And so I had to rethink this role of business. And I had to rethink business and And it's and the whole tendencies that I have, this workaholic tendencies, and try to fit business into my life. And just recently, I promised my wife, I came home, I was working with Mark Bigelow, my Convene chair, and just sharing with him about balance. And so I've been struggling with this balance thing for the last several months before God talked to me at the pool the other day. And so I come home to my wife and I say, honey, I said at 5 o'clock I'm gonna take my cell phone and my iPad, I'm gonna put it away. And I'll pick it up in the morning. And she said, honey, that's great. I said, okay, that's a good step. And so I kid you not, it wasn't but an hour that I caught myself sneaking in the bathroom taking a peek. And I'm in the bathroom taking a peek, and I'm thinking, oh, this is so sick. And so I went out to the kitchen, and I said, honey, I need you to take my iPad and my cell phone. And she says to me, no, honey, I don't need. I said, honey, you need to take this, and then you need to hide it like you hide the cookies. And so that's how it works for me now. A little support from my sweetheart. So today, I run a franchise chain of women's fashion boutiques called Apricot Lane. And we have locations in 36 states. We're blessed with about 100 stores. And each year I send out the State of the Union address to my franchise system. And in January of 2011, I sent it out to them and I said, you know, we're blessed with store growth and we're starting to get some size. And we've got to be about more than just opening stores and making money. And I told my system, I said, you know, I don't know what that is, but I know each and every one of you probably has a charity or a passion or something that you're interested in. Send them to us, whatever resonates with you. Let's see if there's something that resonates that together as a brand, we can come together and make a difference. And God was working upstream as he always does. And a week later, after I sent that to my franchise system, God quickly introduced me to a very difficult cause, sex trafficking, that breaks God's heart, but has since become a passion and a calling for me in such a very personal way. And CNN recently did a documentary about a ministry in Cambodia called Agape International Mission, AIM for short. And I had the opportunity to be involved with AIM, and I'm going to show you a little clip here from CNN, which will share a little bit more about how I got involved in this issue of sex trafficking. So let's watch this clip.
Everything we do is for four purposes: prevent child sex trafficking, rescue victims, restore victims, and equip them to be reintegrated as loving, healthy young women back into Cambodian society.
Don provides each survivor in his care with food, shelter, and love. But he says that's not enough for the long term.
But when that time comes to reintegrate her, she's going to go into a very different circumstance. With us, she's loved 24/7, unconditionally. And now she's going into a community that says she's trash, right? That believes she's trash. So the truth is, from the cultural perspective, she is a piece of trash. The only way to change that is if they have a good job where they can support themselves and help support their family.
So, this is your factory.
This is it.
Don opened this factory in August 2012. The entire workforce is made up of survivors.
So these jobs that we're able to provide in our factories, they're far more than just a place of employment. They're a place that restore honor to a girl, not just in the eyes of the girl, not just in the eyes of the people at the factory, but within the whole community, they become people of honor again. All these girls that you see here, this floor and upstairs, they're all survivors of sex trafficking.
Upstairs, the girls are making intricately woven bracelets, each one hand-signed. Making money is not the number one goal.
I'm more concerned with making a difference than making money. Because the products we sell out of our factory cost more, right? Because we pay 3 to 4 times the wages that were in any other factory. They work 5 days a week. They get health insurance. They get child care. They get free education. So the product is much more expensive, but the result of purchasing one is the freedom, love, and empowerment of a young woman.
Making the bracelets is one thing. Selling them is entirely another.
It takes really someone who's going to distribute the product, because you're not going to be able to make enough money selling the product here in order to support the girls at the level and provide the benefits. So you need someone in a Western country that'll say, I care more about making a difference than money. And Ken Peterson of Apricot Lane and 3 Strands is one of those guys.
Hi, Mara. Thanks so much for coming to Cambodia. We're so excited that you're here.
Oh, thank you. I'm very honored to be here and to learn more about the great work that you guys are doing.
Ken owns a chain of fashion boutiques across the United States. He created a brand called 3 Strands to market the bracelets and sell them in his stores.
Charity is wonderful, it's noble, it's awesome, but it needs to be sustainable from a business perspective.
The profits from the bracelets go back to SWIPOC, but for Ken, it's not just about business. This is personal.
I hear that you adopted one of the girls who was being abused terribly by a foreign pedophile.
Yeah, that's how my eyes were opened up to this evil of sex trafficking, was when I met Don and Bridget, and my wife called me and said, would I consider, bringing into our home a girl from Cambodia, a victim of sex trafficking, and I've always wanted to be a foster parent, and I said yes, and it literally was probably 3 weeks later that my daughter moved into our home with us, and then it became personal to me. And I had a chain of Apricot Lane stores, and I had just told my franchise system, I said, we're blessed with our growth, but we got to be more about than just opening stores and making money. I said, I don't know what that is. I said, but if we can come together, we can make a difference. And then I went back to my system and said, would you guys support something like, it's a difficult subject to take a retail chain, breast cancer awareness, no problem. Sex trafficking,
Despite the difficult subject matter, Ken says all of the stores within his franchise system embrace the concept.
this is about creating jobs for these girls, providing hope for their future, dignity and self-esteem, helping them to reintegrate back into the communities that in their culture, they're considered trash. This is what they need to bring them out of that cultural stigma. We want them to develop skills and to be able to grow and expand from that. So the vision for 3 Strands is big, and like I said, it's more than Cambodia, it's hopefully all around the world. So bringing girls to the United States is not part of the AIM program. And in this particular case, there were 5 girls that were terribly abused by an American pedophile that got busted by AIM, an international justice mission. And our government said to Don at AIM, said, if you can bring these 5 girls to America, we'll extradite this guy and put him away. It was one of the most horrific trafficking cases the FBI had ever prosecuted. And so all 5 girls said yes. And one of the girls that came over is today my daughter, and she was the first one to go up on the witness stand in Los Angeles. And this guy had been recorded calling his brother saying, you can't let these girls testify. So a death threat on all 5 girls. So not only do they come over here, but they're in protective custody. Not only do they come over here, but now they relive the horror through our American court system. And my daughter, being the first to testify, walked up with a teddy bear under her arm and a rock in her pocket that she painted the words, "The truth will set you free." And these 5 girls were sold into trafficking by their mothers. Just crazy stuff. And so we had the opportunity to host this girl. That's what Don said. Ken, will you just give us a year, host her? Well, 2 weeks after she's with us, we said, Tia, we're your forever family, and we're going to show you what unconditional love is. It doesn't matter if I got a piece of paper that says that I can adopt you from Cambodia or not. It's too bad. You can't get rid of us. You don't have a say in this. And so she changed my life. She's my hero, and she reminds me every day why we do what we do. And I'm so proud of our brand, Apricot Lane, to take on difficult subject like this. So as I took my passion for business and using business to fight this business of sex trafficking, it wasn't like I said, oh, this is a good idea, let's do it. It was God calling me to do this when Don said he needed jobs, and I remember fighting God saying, not me, God. I don't know anything about international manufacturing. I don't know anything about customs and tariffs. I don't know anything about wholesale. I don't know anything about distribution. You got the wrong guy. And over a period of time, it became pretty obvious to me that that's when I really knew that it was from God, because he didn't need me. And if I could do it in my own strength, then I didn't need God. And so that's when clarity hit me. And I remember going back to Don and saying, all right, Don, maybe we can do some jobs. I don't know what it is. Maybe we can make some apparel or some jewelry. And a week later, he calls me and says, Ken, I got the building. I said, you got the building? We didn't even have the idea. He says, Ken, it's faith. Just step out in faith. I'm going, oh my gosh, here we go. So 3 Strands, the name, comes from Ecclesiastes 4:12. A cord of 3 strands is not easily broken. And our mission is to mobilize a worldwide community of individuals and organizations to come together and change the lives through sustainable business initiatives. So just taking a business guy saying, let's create business initiatives that create sustainable income, creates jobs, and then let's build this awesome community of 1 million plus. And I say that, I said when I tell my staff, I said, can you imagine a community of 1 million plus people? I mean, what if they were given $5 a month? That's $5 million. You imagine what we could do with that and building jobs and setting up businesses? And I'm telling you, I know one day when I'm with God, he's going to, Ken, you silly rabbit, when you said 1 million, I just told my angels, that guy has no vision. Does he know who I am? But it's not just bracelets or T-shirts or products, it's business initiatives. I mean, it could be a brick factory, making bricks right in country and building the government buildings with the bricks that we make. It could be a boutique hotel. It could be a potato chip manufacturing process. It could be a lot of different things. And this January, we're actually taking our Convene team from Sacramento, and we're going to Cambodia. We're partnering with William Jessup University. They're going to analyze the country and identify needs, and they're going to establish some needs, and we're going to take our team over there, and we're going to look at several business initiatives that could create hundreds, maybe thousands of jobs. And I guarantee you, there'll probably be a few opportunity challenges that will help Don with on some of the existing businesses that he's already doing over there. So we're looking forward to that. So mobilizing a worldwide community is a high priority for us. And this issue, people ask me, they say, Ken, why do you get involved in this issue? And I say to everybody, I said, because it's not okay. It's not okay to rape little girls. It's not okay to have human slavery in this time, in this world. It's not okay. And once you understand a little bit about the issue, it's not something that you can ignore. And in the United States, it's the number 2 money-making business right behind drug trafficking. I mean, sex trafficking is huge, it's on the rise, and it's crazy. And we've been blessed. We've been blessed beyond measure, beyond means. It blows me away every day. I tell you, I praise God. I go, where is this coming from? You blow me away. We had an opportunity recently to be in West Palm Beach to do a fundraiser, and we had Amy Grant there. We had Kip Winger. We had Barry Gibb. We had David Garibaldi. We had several other artists. Celebrities have joined us, and it's just been over the top. CNN, my goodness, that's some pretty good exposure for AIM and for 3 Strands. And then just coming to Convene, day before yesterday, I got a phone call as I was coming to the airport. And we've been working with K-Love Radio to try to partner with K-Love. And they have a small reach, 17 million people that listen to K-Love Radio. And Mike Novak, a fellow Convene member, we're brainstorming about how they can engage and be part of this issue. And we're working on some partnership with them. So God has just opened the floodgates. And none of this reach and exposure is coming from Don or from Ken. God is just pouring his favor upon us and the ministry, and we're just so grateful for it. And I know that this issue is an evil, a dark, a difficult issue. And I'm going to leave you tonight with some hope and some joy. And watch this last short little clip. It would be a good way for us to end.
It's moving day. Carrying boxes and bags full of their belongings, the girls proudly march down the dirt road in Swipak.
Okay, here we go, girls.
16 girls in Don's program are moving into their new home.
When the girls came into the new Rahab's house, Home Makeover, the TV show, it was kind of like that. Like they go in every room and they're screaming, like this is so beautiful, and they're jumping on the beds, laughing and singing.
The girls were just screaming with joy when they saw their new bedrooms and a flush toilet bathroom in every individual room and their counseling room. And to be able to be there and experience that was incredible. And after that unbelievable high, I went up to the very open air top of the rooftop. And these girls all came out and they spontaneously broke out into joy and laughter, and they grabbed hands and they formed this circle and they started singing. And I lost it.
Come on,
Look at the joy. Look at the difference that's being made here in Swipak, Cambodia. Look at where they've been and where they are today. And it was just overwhelming for me. It just took me out. I had gone through a whole week of being saturated in seeing the evil and the darkness, and that contrast of seeing these girls coming up and spontaneously, not scripted, just busting out in joy and song. It was an experience that I will never forget.
There's not enough money in the world to replace the joy that we got to be a small part of that day.
So, thank you. So I love the look back that God gives me every now and then. I was sharing at my table at dinner last night. Cub master. When nobody else would be a cub master, I signed up to be a cub master. Didn't know what I was doing, but God was preparing me as a cub master to be an Awana commander. Same thing with Apricot Lane. He was preparing me not to make money and open a lot of stores and stuff. Yes, that was great. Blessed us with that. He was preparing us for what Apricot Lane could do and use for really where he's taken us. And I don't know where he's taken us with 3 Strands. And my Convene chair is great because when I'm praying for clarity and all that, he says, Ken, you're praying for the wrong thing. He says, you got to quit praying for clarity. You got to pray for strong faith. And that's what I'm doing, praying for strong faith. I don't need to know what next week or next month or next year is going to bring, because he does. So thank you so much for your attention. I've got a table out afterwards where the bracelets are there, and I'd love to chat with you more about how maybe your organizations could engage and get involved with us. So thanks for listening.